So if you were living under a rock yesterday, the trade deadline was super entertaining. My heart rate was kind of high. I was hoping Dallas were going to make some moves. They did get Logan Wilson via trade that morning. It was the trade that Jerry Jones was hitting around on Monday night and on the Stephen A. Smith show that morning, afternoon roughly. And he was saying that, we made a trade. We've already made one trade, but we're teasing a few others as well. He was saying that they were making calls. And they got this guy, Quinnen Williams from the New York Jets. Now, between Logan Wilson and Quinnen Williams, were these moves a bad idea for Dallas? This is where I'm going to go on a healthy rant, okay? I have seen a lot of discourse regarding the Quinnen Williams pickup. A lot. We're going to go ahead and get to the trade compensation to understand why. The Jets will receive the Dallas Cowboys 2026 second round pick and the 2027 first round pick of the Cowboys, and they got defensive tackle Mazi Smith. Full disclosure on top of that, the Jets get the higher of the first round picks in 2027. So whoever's got the higher pick, Green Bay's or whatever, they get the higher pick. So, put that into perspective. Now, when I read this, Adam Schefter says the Jets get the higher of the Cowboys' 2 first-round picks in 2027. Their own or Green Bay's. So basically, whichever one, Dallas or whoever, they get the higher pick. A lot of people are saying around the media that this move from the Cowboys was idiotic. They didn't like the compensation. My father said the same thing. There were a lot of ESPN experts out there who gave the Dallas Cowboys an F for picking up Quinnen Williams via trade. But I have this to say, and this is my personal opinion. I've watched this team. I cover them. I thought, in my personal opinion, this was a pretty good move for the Dallas Cowboys. I really did. I was happy about it. And we'll talk about Sauce later because, of course, Sauce got, traded to the Colts, and I'll give my perspective on that. But when I heard Sauce Gardner was available, I was telling my dad, okay, the Cowboys should probably get on the phone about Quinnen Williams. There was a report earlier, roughly, when the football season was getting kicked underway, that the Dallas Cowboys did reach out about Quinnen Williams, during the Micah Parsons trade. But, the Jets said they didn't even have the resources to give, the Dallas Cowboys in return for Micah Parsons. So when I saw that Sauce was available, I was sitting there like, okay, Dallas should 100% get on the phone about Quinnen Williams. Quinnen Williams has been a top 5 defensive tackle since he's been drafted. He's still young. He's 27. He will be 28 in December. But he is a guy that you can build your defense around. And this is the problem that I've been hearing about a lot of people saying this. Everybody's been sitting here like, why would you trade Micah Parsons, a guy who is 26-year-old, for an up-and-coming 28-year-old that is nowhere near the same person or type of player, caliber player, as Micah Parsons? I 100% get that. But do people really understand that the Dallas Cowboys, while Micah Parsons was a Dallas Cowboy and playing edge rush, they could not stop the run? They couldn't. When they got into the playoffs, what was the problem with the Dallas Cowboys year in, year out? They didn't have the meat and potatoes down below. So far this season, Kenny Clark, he's been doing his job. But outside of him, they still don't have another guy that can help stop and bolster the run. Other teams, they have guys on deck that can do it. But the Dallas Cowboys, if people pay attention and do great journalism and television and broadcasting, they would understand the Dallas Cowboys have struggled to draft defensive tackles. They have had the hardest time. They can't hit on one. Quinnen Williams is the best defensive tackle the Cowboys have had probably since Marcus Spears. And I don't even know how good Marcus Spears was. Everybody said he was pretty decent. But Quinnen Williams is the best defensive tackle the Cowboys have had in probably 20 years. It's been a very long time. A lot of people were bringing up David Irving. He was barely with the Cowboys. But they have struggled. Mozzie Smith, a guy that they got rid of in this trade, he is a player that struggled. He was a reach in the first round. So you're getting a guy in Quinnen Williams who is 28. He's already been an All-Pro one time. He's a two-time Pro Bowler. Or is it four-time Pro Bowler? I can't 100% remember, but he's been to multiple Pro Bowls. A lot of people said he hasn't captured the magic the last 2-3 years like he did in 2022 when he was an All-Pro. But yeah, guess what? He was playing over there with the New York Jets and losing every year. And he was the main star for the ball club. So you get that. And the thing that I'm not understanding with people is this. The Dallas Cowboys still have their 2 first-round picks in the upcoming draft. And the Dallas Cowboys, they're not going to win some games. I think the most wins they can get is probably 7, and that's pushing it. So you're going to have a number 10, 15 pick. That is good enough. They're going to get an edge rusher. And then they're going to draft another player. I think more than likely they definitely need to address safety or cornerback, preferably safety. My dream scenario, honest dream scenario, is they could draft Caleb Downs, surefy the safety position, because Caleb Downs, you can put him anywhere. You can even put him at slot safety sometimes in a formation. That's how good Caleb Downs is. You can go get somebody else, a good edge rusher. The guy from Miami, people loving the guys from Texas Tech. There are a lot of options. The idea that everybody, and this is another important thing that has really irked my nerves about this trade. People have always said this about Dallas. They never make moves. But when they make a move, everybody wants to find a reason to say, oh, this is a stupid move. Why did they do that? But yet in the same breath, for the past 4 weeks of the season, they were like, why won't Dallas make a move? They're not doing anything. Yes, I get the point that it's too late to make a move. My whole problem, if Jerry Jones made a move, was to try and make a move that would be a one-year rental, like a Trey Hendrickson or things of that nature. I would have had a huge problem with that. But guess what? Quinnen Williams, you're going to have him on your roster for this season and the 2 seasons after that. He's on the books for the next 2 years. So this ain't a one-year rental. This is a guy who you're going to build around. And Albert Beer, he's a reporter for NFL Network. He had some interesting things I don't even think he works for NFL Network. It might be another company. But Albert Beer had something, and he tweeted about it, and it was very interesting. I just read it a while ago. I hope I can find it, because he pretty much broke down the salary cap numbers for the trade between paying Micah Parsons and picking up Quinnen Williams. I can't quite find it, but I remember it in this sense. I can remember it from the top of my head. Quinnen Williams, you're paying him $8 million this year. You're paying him $20 next year and $20 after that. In Micah Parsons' contract, you're paying Micah Parsons $44 million this year, $44 next year, and $44 the year after that. So roughly, Albert Beer, the number 68 is popping in my head because I remember seeing it. From what I remember correctly, the Dallas Cowboys are going to save $68 million in the cap by having Quinnen Williams, on top of getting 2 stellar defensive players in the upcoming draft. So in place of Micah Parsons, you're saving $68 million in cap space, and you're getting an additional you're getting an additional first round pick because you're going to have your own, and then you get Green Bay's first round pick. So you get an additional first round pick on top of that. So you got Kenny Clark, Quinnen Williams, an extra first round pick that could be an edge rusher in a latter round, and then you get another first round pick. And you still get the picks next year. That's just good business in my opinion. I thought the trade was pretty good. If the Eagles or anybody else in this matter would have made a trade like this, everybody would be praising it. All the Howie Roseman glaze. But since it's the Dallas Cowboys, people find a reason to have a problem with the trade. I think it's absolute bullcrap. I think it's absolute boomalarchy. This is the thing that upsets me with the media. Where is the consistency? Why is it that we always, year in, year out, want to hop down Jerry Jones' throat for not trying to make moves to make the roster better? I got to give credit to Jerry Jones, and I give Jerry Jones a lot of crap. Because I still think if Jerry Jones managed the Micah Parsons situation better, we could have had Quinnen Williams earlier on in the season. We could still be primed to make a run. He's made his mistakes here and there that I don't agree with, but I agree with this one. And I know my dad's probably going to watch this at some point, and he's going to say, son, you are foolish in the head. But it's just my personal opinion. D-tackle, and credit to Chris Collinsworth, he said it. They're hard to come around. What has the Chiefs done? They've been to Super Bowls. Guess who they have in the middle? Chris Jones. Buffalo Bills, Ed Oliver. The Rams, Aaron Donald. That position is hard to find. And the Dallas Cowboys have struggled to find it. So instead of, hypothetically, we can get one in the draft. They did it with Mozzie Smith and it didn't work. I would rather go ahead and pay that first round pick and get Quinnen Williams. Because in this upcoming draft, Quinnen Williams is your second round pick. Quinnen Williams, and John Middlecoff said it, is going to be your best draft pick that you're going to get out of the whole second round. So I think this is smart business. But the Dallas Cowboys, they are under a lot of pressure to hit on those 2 draft picks coming up this year because they are going to be vital. You're going to have George Pickens some way, somehow, either by the franchise tag or you're going to re-sign him. You got Osa too, and you got Kenny Clark. Roughly, all 3 of those guys have a $20 million cap hit on the cap next year. So a lot of people are saying you are going to get rid of one of them. If you get rid of Kenny Clark, you're not going to get the $20 million cap hit. So I think there might be a possibility that they could get rid of Kenny Clark. I would probably rather get rid of Osa. Osa has not been good this year. But, that's a decision we'll make down the road. But you're going to have Quinnen Williams. Trayvon Diggs is going to get healthy. DaRon Bland is going to get healthy. Sharon Revel, a guy who everybody's been high on at cornerback, he has a chance to get healthy and be great as well. You do that. Donovan Ezeraku, he's been a bright spot so far for your defense. You get him established going into year 2. You draft you another edge rusher. And then you can draft a DB. And then at linebacker, you have Logan Wilson and Demarion Overshawn. Look, Logan Wilson, I think he can be good. He's not a great player, but he can be good alongside Overshawn. And you still have them younger guys that you can still develop to be pretty good linebackers. So I love this trade for Dallas. I love it for the future for Dallas. I think this is an absolute win. If you disagree with me, I don't care. That's just my personal thoughts and opinions on that. That is pretty much all I have regarding about this trade. I think it's the right trade. And everybody who's saying, why would Jerry Jones do this? I just got done listening to Colin McIntyre on The Herd right before I got ready to get ready and hop on the mic for today's show. The number one thing everyone was saying, why would Jerry make this move? You're not going to make the playoffs. Idiots. We have him for the next 2 years. And we still have 2 draft picks coming up this year. And we have a lot of money in cap space to sign free agents. This lets you know, some media doesn't do their homework. And it really shows. Bill Barnwell, there's a whole lot of people giving the Cowboys an F for this trade. Do people really understand that if Micah Parsons was on this roster, they wouldn't be doing anything. I like the idea of possibly getting Micah Parsons. You could have saved and kept him, but there's no way you're able to get Quinnen Williams and Micah Parsons on the same payroll with CD and Dak. It just can't happen. I would rather, instead of not having George Pickens and not having Quinnen Williams, I think the scenario of having Dak, CD, and Pickens alongside Quinnen Williams, your 2 future first-round draft picks, is a better option than just CD, Dak, Micah, and your just other draft pick. Better business to me.